Yeah, what's going on with the ketchup on the hot dog thing?
It's a preference thing, and I don't understand why it lit the world on fire. Apparently, Cap went on a rant this morning.
Oh, well, you know that. Come on.
Did you grow up in Nashville?
No, I didn't. Well, first off, I didn't hear the rant. I've just gotten tagged in a bunch of tweets about it. Like, did he write me off or something? Like, he went scorched earth?
Yeah, he pretty much went. Well, you know how he is.
He may have.
Yeah, he went scorched earth. Yeah, I'm with
Man,
you.
We'll see if I can do anything to get him to flip-flop on his take, because we know that he does that a lot. So maybe I could say something to get him back into his good graces. Yeah. But I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But kudos to Ben Johnson for getting everybody all up in arms with the age-old debate of whether hot dogs can have ketchup on them and be considered legit. I love it. It's the way that I like to eat a hot dog. I don't want the onions, the relish, the pickle sphere. No. I don't like mustard. First and foremost, I don't like mustard. Right. So
what do you do on a brat? What do you do on a brat then?
Hot dog or ketchup on a brat, on a hot dog, on a Polish, any of it.
No ketchup kidding. All day. Do you have a preference of ketchup?
Heinz. Is there any other? What else? What other brands?
I think Red Gold. What else is there?
No, there's Red Gold.
I don't even know. Yeah. I mean, Red Gold.
Yeah, Red Gold.
I mean, you think ketchup, you only think of Heinz.
Yeah.
They got a...
Well, and you're not,
not a
fan of...
They cornered the market.
You're not a fan of ketchup then if you don't know there's another ketchup.
I guess, well, I'm not a fan of ketchup. I think of Heinz. I'm with Courtney. That's
well, here's the thing. All right, do you remember back in... Was it late February, early March when Vienna Beef came by? And weren't you guys, Yurko, you were doing this.
Yeah, we were at the hot dog.
Yeah. Black.
Yeah.
You had to eat, 24 of them?
Whoa.
What was the,
I ate 12.
Remind me what the concept was.
Every hot dog you ate was an hour off of your penance, where we had to stay in the building for 24 straight hours.
Okay, and how were you eating those hot dogs? You weren't eating a true Chicago-style dog with every one of those.
No.
There'd be no way.
No. They were plain or with mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was putting relish and pickle on mine.
We didn't have all the accoutrements on there, no, by no stretch of the imagination. Well, you could have, though.
I had relish and pickle on most of mine, and sport peppers.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have partaked in that, I would have had only ketchup on mine, because it goes down easier. You're not going to be dealing with the indigestion. I mean, it's hot dogs. You probably would anyways, but it'd be a lot easier to eat than trying to house 12 Chicago-style dogs. Like, I don't know. To me, when I'm at Wrigley in the summer and I'm watching a game and I'm relaxing and just having a casual day out, I want ketchup on a hot dog. I just don't think that I need to go through all the rigmarole of everything else with getting the pickle spear on it. You know how long that relish has been sitting in those
that's true. You try not to think about those things. That is true.
Well, I do think of those things, so that's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. And it is a preference thing. I actually you don't like mustard. I don't like ketchup. I don't put ketchup on anything, not my fries, anything. So you're right. It's a preference. The point of all this is everybody's whipped up in like a frenzy over the Bears. And Ben Johnson has got this town in the palm of his hand right now. They're giving out free hot dogs. People are dressing up. You're on SportsCenter talking about it. Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football is in town interviewing Caleb. I mean, everybody wants a piece of the Bears right now, Courtney.
Yeah, they're the national darling. And when a team like this, from a city like this, is good, it's catnip for big networks because of the intrigue around Ben Johnson in year one with a young quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 overall pick. Like, it's that stuff, but it's also the brand. Like, the Bears are a really strong national brand. Kind of like the Bulls were that for a very long time. You know, you think of across sports, it's like the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Detroit Red Wings are one of those. I know not in recent years, but historically speaking. And then you have the Packers, the Bears, the Cowboys. When a big brand like that is good, everyone's interested. And for them to be 9-3 right now, the number 1 seed, the last time they were the number 1 seed this late in the season, they went to the Super Bowl. It's got a lot of heads turned because it's happened, I think, because it's happened quicker than most people thought. It's like, all right, what's working here? Because everybody's waiting to see if it's going to fall, if it's a house of cards or if it's built on a stable foundation. And I think what we learned in Philly is that it is legit. It is built on a stable foundation. Like, that legitimized them in a lot of ways, and everybody now wants a piece.
Does Edwards get back? Does Stevenson get back for an important game this weekend?
Who gets healthy?
So Stevenson wasn't at practice during the portion that we were out there yesterday, but, to get to see Edwards back on the field, to see Noah Sewell out there, I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
There's obviously no injury report until Thursday. The team's off today. They just wanted to get on the field yesterday, which is why they altered the schedule. But, I think it's a good sign that the health of this unit is trending. The linebacker unit's trending in a good direction. Obviously, Tremaine Edmonds can't come back until that second Packers game at the earliest. But if they can get Sewell, they can get TJ Edwards back. We'll see about Ruben Hippolyte, but to shore up some of the numbers they have at that position, that helps because we know Josh Jacobs is a great running back and they lean on him a lot. And I would imagine that that'll be something that they feel they're going to have to do in the elements, just like the Bears will probably lean on their ground game in Lambeau Field too.
You get a sense that the intensity is ramped up a little bit this week, knowing it's Packer week.
Yeah, and it's because of where both teams are. Like, we haven't seen many Bears-Packers games where both teams were considerably above 500 to begin with, but considerably above 500.
You're right.
First place in the division's on the line. Usually, because of how one-sided this rivalry has become over the last 20 years, like, that just doesn't factor into the hype. And I think a lot of Bears fans are looking at this saying, we win this one, and you feel like you can run the table the rest of the way. Like, they beat the Packers in January. Obviously, it was a different team, different set of circumstances, but it really does feel like that was a confidence boost that they could do it up there because they hadn't done it up there since 2015. That's a long time. That's a lot of losses, and there are only a handful of players on this team that had experienced those losses the last couple of years, Cole Kmet, Jalen Johnson, because most of that roster wasn't around. And so I look at where the Packers are playing, Jordan Love coming off his best game of the season last week, and where the Bears are coming off of arguably their best game of the season, complimentary football-wise, all three phases last week. And you think that sets up for, a heavyweight showdown that goes a long way in determining who wins the division. And if the Bears can hold on to that 1 seed, because it changes. It changes very quickly. If they lose, they go to the 7 seed. Obviously, the Rams and the Cardinals game, that result factors in too. But, independent of that, it just shows you how quickly things can change in a week-to-week span in the NFL based on where they are now and what could happen if they lose.
Ben Johnson with an honest assessment of the passing game. Anybody's feelings get hurt up there?
I don't think so. I was kind of surprised that he walked that back yesterday, but I also get it because when you say, what's the narrative been this year? Can the Bears win because of Caleb Williams, or are they winning in spite of Caleb Williams? So when he says, we're winning in spite of our passing game, I think he probably thought, caught himself after the fact saying, that sounds like I'm saying we're winning in spite of Caleb, which is not the case. And I don't think anybody thinks that, but I get why he'd want to clarify that because that's the overarching question of the season that they have to come away with. Are they winning because of Caleb Williams so they know they're moving in the right direction? The answer, I think, is yes. It's a struggle right now with the passing game. Cole Kmet called it a weak link the other day. It is, and that's not going to be something in a one-and-done scenario in the playoffs that you want to look the way that it does right now. So I don't think there was anything wrong with what he said. I think it's very factual that they were winning in spite of their passing game, given the defense, how they've performed, given the 281 yards that they ran for the other day. But I didn't take it as a slight on Caleb by any stretch.
I totally agree with you. I didn't read it that way at all. I did not. I don't think it needs any walking back. I think it's a simple fact. The passing game is not good enough. And there's a lot of blame to go around, and Ben Johnson documented that. He talked about the receivers and the things they need to do to get better, and some of even some of his play calling and how in certain moments that's got to get better. And Caleb's accuracy, I agree so much with you that I did not take that for 1 second as some sort of a veiled shot to Caleb Williams at all. I don't think it needed to be walked back, and I think it's a simple fact. If anybody's watched this team week in and week out, I don't know how anyone could argue against anything Ben Johnson said about their passing game right now. It is not good enough, and he should not be afraid to say that.
No, and I think that he knows that it's not at every turn he's been very honest about it not being good enough, but in every turn he's been very complimentary of the quarterback. I think in there too, people heard the game manager comment and thought that was maybe a slight. I don't think it is. I think as a quarterback, you have to manage a game. And he did a really good job of that in the conditions with Ben Johnson and bailing him out of a couple play calls. all of those things are signs of growth for a second-year QB. So I wouldn't say it's unnecessary. I guess he felt his prerogative why he wanted to do it, but I didn't take it as any sort of negative thing about Caleb Williams.
No, I didn't either. All right, anything else we need to know for this week?
So you mentioned the play calling. Like, remember Ben Johnson said last week after the Philly game, he's like, yeah, there are times that you wanted to run it more. You look at the stat sheet, you think, wow, I might have 36 dropbacks. I might have called too many pass plays. I am curious how, when he admits that stuff post game and talks about kind of just being self-aware of where the team might have gotten away from what was working really well for them, and it was kind of interesting to watch, being like, why are they running or why are they throwing the ball on 3rd and short in this situation? And with how effective they were running the ball, I wonder how that translates to Green Bay, because this is a good run defense. We know that David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs weren't able to do a whole lot last week. I still feel like this is where your run game can travel, because we've seen against Cincinnati and in Philadelphia, that's where they've put up their best rushing numbers of the season. I think you don't get off that strategy this week, and I'll be very curious to see how Ben Johnson, after saying what he said last week about his play calling, how he stays true to that, or if he doesn't.
Yeah. All right, Courtney, good stuff, and we'll talk to you next
guys.
week. Thanks. There's
care.
Courtney Cronin on the Yingling Guest Hotline.